Hello, Gremolinos. It's I, Catherine, your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered chaos reader. I literally just had a coughing fit because my asthma is being weird. Like, asthma plus allergies, the worst. But I am here because I'm starting a new reading vlog that is primarily motivated by the fact that there is a lot of football on this weekend. So actually even into next week, there's just a lot of football. My wife is doing fantasy football, and so she's watching a lot of preseason stuff to like prepare. And so there's a lot of football, which means I read a lot of books. So I have a random assortment of library books, and I have 3 kind of designated for this vlog. One of which I did start last night. So I did start She Hunts Me Still while a game was on last night before I fell asleep. So in this, and I feel like the back, it doesn't give too much away. But I have to be kind of careful because they don't mention some things, which is interesting. But we are following Mallory. She is our primary character, and she is technically an orphan. Her mother died when she was 5, and it was very gruesome. It was tied very much into a ghost story in her mind. So Mallory has gone to Shore College, which is where her mom went to school, and Shore College has this very intensive theater program. And so it was odd because Mallory kind of like didn't think she would get to go there, but she is going there. And she's now very focused on trying to solve the mystery of not only her mother's death, but her mother's ghost. And her mother's ghost is not exactly what you might think. So they mentioned ghosts on the back of this, I'm so sure. Sorry. It says marked by ghost stories and loss. Yes, okay, it does. So there was a woman in a white nightgown with a blood that was like covered in blood that Mallory used to see as a child. And after her mother's death, that spirit kind of went away. She hadn't seen her. And now that she's at Shore College, she is seeing her again. And she feels very motivated to discover what happened to this ghost. Because her mother at a certain point referred to it as her ghost. Like, this is a ghost that connected to the mother. And so in solving the mystery of this ghost, Mallory is hoping to kind of solve the mystery of what motivated or what caused her mother's death. In this search, she is also being joined by Ezra, who is the assistant director. He is a senior and she's a freshman at this college. The theater school insists that every member of the theater program be involved in a Shakespeare play before they're officially considered like in the program. And so they are doing Romeo and Juliet. So throughout this, Mallory is referred to as Jules because she gets cast as Juliet. So Ezra constantly calls her Jules. So even though her name is Mallory in the book, you'll frequently see her called Jules. He is trying to help her because he kind of has his own demons that he's dealing with. And I mean that in the term of metaphorical demons, at least I think so. So they are trying to solve this like mystery together. The college has a deep history that ties into the New England vampire epidemic. If you've read the Pallbearers Club, you will know what I'm talking about because that also appears in there. But they talk about that, and that also related to the school's past as a, I believe you say sanatorium. I think it's sanatorium and not sanitarium. I think it's sanatorium. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry, but I think that's how you say it. And they are now kind of caught up in like sort of ghost hunting practices, seances, all of that to try and figure out what's going on. But we have also been introduced to Mallory's understudy, Saskia. And Saskia, when she first met Mallory, actually told her to leave her alone and called her a completely different name. So somehow Saskia is tied into all of this, but we don't know how. And the 3 of them are going to wind up working together. This is a very queer book at its core. While Ezra and Mallory, this is mentioned on the back, do have feelings for each other, both have said that they are all also interested just in general in both men and women. They have only specified men and women, but it seems like they are kind of interested in anyone, and they don't, neither one of them uses a label, but it is very queer. And I'm curious if Saskia, I believe, Saskia is mentioned as being into girls, because they say something, Ezra says something and is like, oh no, I'm not her type. And he means like, I am not her type at all. So very queer, which is very fun. I am enjoying it. It is very 90s. There is a reference to something in Felicity as something that occurred at Mallory's former school. There's references to like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? So it is very 90s. which is also helpful because there's like a cell phone mentioned, but there's no one really using cell phones. So that is interesting. It kind of adds to the like mystique of the school. But again, I am enjoying it. It is hefty. This is 412 pages and I have like a little less than 300 left. So I am very curious to see where this goes. I'm not going to give you any updates on that, I think, until I finish it, because the back doesn't give a ton away. And I don't want to spoil anything. I did even say some stuff that's not technically on the back, but it sort of is, so I just included that. But the reason we're in my office and not a different room of the house is because, well, it is hot in here. It's so hot in here without my fan on. We went to Five Below and they had Gremlins mystery boxes, and I was so excited because they were new ones. They had like different characters, and there are 3 new ones on my shelf. So I did a whole shelf reorganization of my little Gremlin shelf behind Stripe. He's over here. And I really want to show you the 3 that I got. Now technically I did buy 6 of them. Krista grabbed the 6 they had left. One was a duplicate of one I got, and I'm saving it because I think I'm just gonna like gift it to someone because it's really cute. And then 2 of the ones I got, they recycled a Gizmo figure from the first set, so I already had that one from the first set, and then I got 2 more because of course. But I did get 3 new ones and they're very, very cool, and I really want you to see them. So let's show you the shelf. Okay, Gremliners, it's so hot in here that my brain is scrambled eggs. But this is the Gremlin shelf, which you have seen before. Sam just fell over, just out of the blue. He's on the floor, see? There's Sam. Also, yes, there's just random stuff right there that is piled up. But yeah, he just fell. Also, my Thorn costume and Chucky. Anyway, I'm gonna have to pick him up. But this is the Gremlin shelf, and this is not all the Gremlin stuff. Like Stripe is here holding little Gizmo, like he's Godzilla. And then the Stripe and Gizmo Squishmallows are in this chair. But this is the shelf. So I was very excited to get Greta because I love Greta Gremlin's character design. Also, I'm just gonna say, I personally identify Greta Gremlin as trans because she transitions in Gremlins too. And I'm pretty sure that she is. If she's not on lists, she should be on lists because she's incredible. I love her. And she gets some fun moments in that movie. Then the other one I got that I'll show you next is Scared Gizmo, and he's in the helmet. And then this is the one I was so excited for. This is Stripe pre-gremlinization. And he is eating the chicken leg, and he's so cool. I love him so much. I was so excited I got this one. So yeah, I was very excited to get them. That's the shelf now. I moved some like Furbies and stuff around. Now I gotta set Sam back up, and then I'm getting out of this office, and I may put on a pajama top because I'm a lot warmer than I anticipated. And I think I might put on like a cozy shirt, but I'm gonna go chill. I will talk to you about the book when I finish it. You might see some other stuff because I think we're gonna play a board game, but I'm gonna go. I will talk to you when I finish She Haunts Me Still.
Cannot be part of this.
Yep. Bernie, no, you're gonna tip the board. Ah, I just wanted to show you. This is the game that I said we were gonna play. So Krista played this when she was a kid. This is the Sweet Valley High game. That's all it's called. This is upside down, but see? Sweet Valley High game. You have
older than my wife.
Yes, it is actually. And you have to get your teacher, an item, your outfit, accessories, and a boyfriend. And yes, you may know that only 2 humans are in this house, but Kira will be playing Lila. And she will be going to the Sweet 16 party. And Bane, who sat in the box, will be Enid, who is going to a surfing beach party. I will be playing Jessica, who is going to junior prom, and Krista will be playing Elizabeth, who is going on a weekend bike tour, which sounds horrible.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
My butt would hurt so much. Like, just biking and biking. But Elizabeth is the sporty one, right? Kind of.
I mean, kind of sporty, but
she's
more down to earth, so obviously she would do something with me.
There you go. But yeah,
Jessica wouldn't be caught dead on a weekend bike tour.
I vaguely read some Sweet Valley High books, not a ton. I read more of the Sweet Valley kids, like when they were in middle school. When I was in middle school, a friend of mine like loaned me a ton of them. So I only really know them as like middle schoolers. I didn't really read any of the high school ones.
It says play a card, so do we start with like a hand full of cards?
Oh, I have to check. I need to check the rules. We're going to play. I'll let you know how it goes, Grumblinos.
I think Kira's gonna win.
She probably will.
I think she's gonna steal all of her boyfriends.
Yes. So when Krista played this as a kid, she normally played by herself, which yes, and Blackie, her pound puppy. And when I played board games like this, because I had a babysitter, I had 2 Babysitters Club ones that were very similar. I always played primarily by myself, and my Claudia doll and assorted other stuffed animals would play with me. So it's kind of the same setup, since Kira and Bane don't have thumbs. So we're gonna...
Kira's like, I'm very invested in this.
I know you are.
I came all the way over on my own volition to my playing piece.
Yes. She's very ready. Alright, we're gonna read the rest of the rules because I didn't read all of them, and then get to playing. So I'll let you know how it goes, Grumbleinos, and whether Kira wins. Because she probably will. Very definitely is going to win. Alright, talk to you later, Grumbleinos. Hello, Grumbleinos. We're going with ominous lighting. Very ghost light-esque of us. Oh, my lighting person is here. My wife, Krista, who won the Sweet Valley High game. She won. Elizabeth got all of her things. Ugh, and there's a gnat on me. So many bugs. We literally took Charlie out. All the dogs went out, but Charlie was gonna get time to play in the yard, and we got bit to death by mosquitoes.
My face, my back, my hands, everywhere.
Yeah, so we're both very itchy. But before I took her out, I did finish She Haunts Me Still. This is very long. I am going to say the length of this could perhaps be best served by an additional pass-through. There are some things that are very obvious, and they are presented very early on, and you can very much tell that they all tie together. And I will say that about one thing, like one reveal. I was like, when are we gonna, is that gonna, and then it did finally like get revealed, but it took a long time. There's a lot happening in here. So I did check online, and this is being marketed as a vampire book, which, sure. I feel like the book would be better served by saying this is like a supernatural romp of sorts. Think an entire season of the Vampire Diaries condensed into 412 pages. There are a lot of supernatural things going on, like varied entities, varied discussions of supernatural things. The farther we get into the research regarding the ghost and the so in this it's the Sanatorium, that's how they're pronouncing it, but apparently Sanatorium and Sanitarium are the same word. I'm assuming one is like the British and one is the American way. Shout out to Sam Eagle. But it's Sanitarium in this. The reason I kept saying Sanatorium connects to, I believe, the brides, which they call it a sanatorium, I think. But in this, the more research they do, the more additional supernatural things start coming up. What is on the back of this? Yeah. So on the back, this very clearly mentions when an ancient bloodthirsty evil calls to collect on a bargain that dates back to the New England vampire panic. So yes, there is something that has occurred. Mallory is connected to it because she's our lead, and in ways associated with her, being associated with her also connects to, also, of course, there's some sneaky things going on in the background. There is not a lot I can tell you without spoiling it because the back does not tell you a ton. This is also a remarkably steamy book. There is a lot of very sexual scenes. There are a lot of, you take it like a very good girl, a lot, which is very uncomfortable to read. I'm just gonna point that out there. It's very uncomfortable to read the amount of times it occurs in this. Oh, now the gnat is on my camera, sorry. But there's a lot of like giving oneself over to someone else is like a theme, and a lot of that theme does present itself in a very sexual nature. We also do, this is a very bisexual book. We do get Mallory saying she is bisexual, and Ezra and Saskia are both love interests. So very bisexual. That does change a bit as the plot goes on. You'll see it's not exactly a love triangle, but kinda. I'm saying kinda, you'd have to read to understand. But again, ultimately this oddly really felt like you took an entire season of the Vampire Diaries with like subplots and additional characters and like put it together. There's a character that kind of reminded me of like sort of a Caroline-esque character, Arden. There's a guy named Raph who's just kind of in the story. Felt a bit like Matt. Then...
If we called her Caroline, we could call her Care Bear.
Ah, shoot, we could have. I mean, we could still call Charlie Care Bear. It's a thing we could do. Also, Caroline seems hard. We couldn't have named her Caroline.
Twin syllables.
No, that's William's wife.
Beth.
I mean, I knew that. But I feel like it would be weird to be like, oh yeah, Caroline, meet our dog. Caroline.
They're never gonna meet our dog.
They probably won't visit. We're not like... William... No, he has a cat. He is technically allergic to cats like you. His isn't as bad. But no, they don't really visit where we are. There's not a lot to do here. Anyway, that tangent aside. So kind of imagine... I'm not gonna say which ones, but like if you imagine Mallory as Elena and like destined to be tied into things, then in theory, then...
Got a bit on my eyebrow.
Oh no. Saskia and Ezra have to be Damon and Stefan in a certain capacity. It's not a perfect comparison, but somehow the more I was reading, they'd be like, witches, vampires, ghosts, cults. And I was like, is this Vampire Diaries? Maybe I just had it on the brain, but like it just kept feeling more and more Vampire Diaries to me. Also, something didn't entirely get answered for me at the end, yet I guess it does if I think extra hard. There's a scene at the end that reminded me of Practical Magic, the first one. I will not say how, but that also like kind of ties into why I was like, well, I guess that works. But there is a scene that felt very Practical Magic. But I will not go any further because it will spoil the ending. So I feel like this was fine. I do very much appreciate a bisexual main character who is allowed to explore different relationships with different people. I do appreciate that. I think that's a great touch. And I like that a lot of the characters were queer. Ezra does not have a label. He never presents as saying he has a label, but he is into girls and boys, he says. And Saskia is, I believe, a lesbian. I don't know that she ever actually says she's a lesbian outright. Oh, no, Charlie is a squeak toy. I am about done. Oh, I think there's a mosquito in my hair. But yeah, so it was fine. I just think it is a bit too long, and some of the reveals feel drawn out far too much. Also, I do not know if this was marketed this way. I was having a heck of a time finding, because I heard about this. I don't know if this is technically dark romance because of all of the sex. But there's a lot of it. Just please bear that in mind. There are a lot of scenes, many of which I was not expecting. Like, they would just happen, and I was like, oh, okay. Horrible things are happening, but yeah, definitely this is the time. Which I think might also be why it made me made me think of Vampire Diaries, because I feel like people in that are also like, everything is terrible, let's make out. That also works because that's Jekyll and Hyde. Very nice. All right, we are gonna just chill. There's another game on soon, and I have my other book. It's back here. Complete different change of pace. We're reading a book I've never heard of. It's called Kiss, Marry, Kill by Cara... Oh, I'm gonna have to flip to another page. I can read that, but also I would like to see it not in cursive. Oh, it's in cursive everywhere. It's on the back. Oh, Cara Tanamachi. Also known as Cara Lockwood.
Tyler Lockwood.
Oh my god, look at that. That was the only character that didn't get a comparison too. But yeah, I don't know anything about this book. I just saw Kiss, Marry, Kill, Dating is Such a Killer, and I read the back and it said small Midwest town.
Not attack, it is being.
And I just thought,
it's just light bouncing off of
oh god, I just thought it sounded fun. So I'm gonna read this. I gotta go. I will talk to you later, Gremolinos. Bye! Hello, Gremolinos. Oh, it is still kind of, I have like a bug bite or something right here from taking Charlie out last night. I got bit a ton on the face. So itchy. It is pretty late on Sunday night. Krista is watching football, and I just finished all of Kiss, Marry, Kill, and this was so much freaking fun. Okay, so this is like a thriller mystery, but it is going to be part of a series, so I'm just letting you know that up front, because there is a teaser in the back of the title of the next book, so this is going to be a series. This was just such a romp. So we are following Ella, who was doing a podcast called Crime Hive. She's been doing it for a while. It sounds like it was a true crime podcast. I will be putting this book down. Ugh. So she was doing this podcast called Crime Hive, and in Crime Hive, she was covering the canceled killer. And the canceled killer was someone who was like finding and taking out people who'd done things they didn't agree with in very like poetic ways. Like things they didn't agree with that this person did that they believed were killable offenses. They would then kind of like turn what they did on them. So for example, I'm not going to get into detail with them because they explain them a lot in the story, but like one of them, oh, this one will work. This guy made a tanning bed of sorts that was supposed to help cure PTSD, and it was a fake, like it was joke science. And when it was determined that it was fake, all of these veterans that had given the company money to invest to get this made were basically just out of their money and without treatment. And so this particular person was like fried in their own tanning bed. So it's like a very clever, like, you've brought this upon yourself kind of thing. And so the canceled killer has a huge fan base because of their actions, even though it is determined that perhaps the canceled killer is far more evil than people think. So Ella. I call her Ella a lot, but she goes by Ella. She was reporting on the case, and in her podcast, she directed everyone to a specific suspect because everything seemed to really tie into that suspect. Like only one person could have done it, it seemed. And she kind of pushed that narrative, and ultimately it was determined that that person did not do it, and her podcast was canceled, basically. So she's gone back home to Lake Sanguis, Wisconsin, which is this very touristy spot for folks who live in Chicago. Think of it as the, like, what would it be, the Catskills, the Adirondacks for like New York City. Like people go upstate from New York City. It's kind of like that, but for Chicago. And so her family owns a B&B. They have run this for a very long time, since they were kids, since she and her brother and sister were kids. There is a tiny bit of queer representation in this because her sister Olivia is gay. That's very minimally presented in this book, so I'm hoping maybe in the second one it would be explored more. And her older brother Oscar is the sheriff, and so she's at home, and then she starts getting these threatening messages, and they think the canceled killer is after her. So Ella and her brother and also other people are trying to figure out what's going on and protect Ella. So the men in her life at this point, my hand is in a very odd spot, are, so like on the front it shows 3 men. Ella has been hooking up with a guy named Spider-Man Mateo, basically a guy she met on a dating app who played Spider-Man, like he was a Spider-Man stunt person. And so he shows up, a cop from Chicago shows up and is like, hey, I'm here because you left and I want to help. And then her brother's best friend Jude, and all 3 of them are love interests. And that is presented to you on the back of the book and in the prologue. But this was just so fun. The story does give you hints, and tries to direct you a certain way. There are moments where you're like, what? Wait, hold on. But Ella is an incredible character. She knows Krav Maga. She's very good at it. And she is a very good investigator. So she is a perfect female main character for this because she is an investigator. She's not just a podcaster. She is doing all of her own research, and she can protect herself because she got picked on a lot when she was a kid. And then we have this like 3 men who she has to like question as to whether they're dangerous or not, or could be involved in some way. And so that's fun. I will say one of them, not exactly. You are kind of led to believe it could be all 3 of them. And like one of the 3 of them is very definitely behind everything. And there's just like a wild thing that happens at the end where I gasped. Like I was like, wait, what? And then the teaser for the next book, incredible. So this is just very fun. Apparently, a number, I think this is her first like thriller. I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like under the name Kara Lockwood, or Kara? Oh shoot, I should look that up. I went with did I say Kara or Kara the first time? I have known people who spell it that way, who pronounce it either way. But under the name Lockwood, she has published other books. And I think they're romance. I think, let me check. Yes, it mentions romance. I'm reading a bunch of stuff. Oh, she had a book made into a Lifetime original movie called I Do But I Don't. And has written romantic comedy, steamy romance, suspense. Oh, she's written everything. Just everything, all over the place. A lot of romance. Also, oh my gosh, this is so funny. She ghostwrote The Sweet Life, a Sweet Valley High new adult novel with Francine Pascal. That is wild. Also, she wrote the novelization of the Hallmark movie Dater's Handbook that starred is she still, yeah, Duchess Meghan Markle? I was like, is it just Meghan Markle? Do I still call her Duchess? Absolutely wild, because we played that Sweet Valley game. That is just a truly bonkers connection. But this was so fun. I had a great time. I will definitely read the next one in this series, and I already took a picture of this cover and sent it to my sister and was like, when I was 3 chapters in, I was like, I'm 3 chapters in, I think this might be fun. And suggested it to her, which is my segue to the next book. So I will be reading, based on a recommendation from my sister, The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. I assume it is Sarah Pierce. Wow, I've done a great job of not knowing anyone's name. That looks like it should be Pierce. But she recommended this. I would just like you to know that I am horrible with names in general. And in typical me fashion, normally if someone asks me for like book recommendations, I can only ever remember the title. And then I have to be like, and I'll find you the author's name later. Just, I'm so bad at it. But yeah, so I'm very intrigued. She said she read part of it, or she maybe like started it when it came out, because it was a Reese's book club pick. It's been out for a while. I think this is from like 2022. Do I have publishing information? Because she said it was on like an old thing. Oh, 2021. Okay, so yes, 2021. But I'm very curious. But this will be the next and last book in this vlog. It's pretty hefty, because it's 388 pages, but it's a hardback. And so like this being 318 and paperback, the size difference here means there are fewer words per page. So there's more text in the sanatorium. So yeah, I need to head back downstairs because Krista needs to shower. Also, yes, I am bruised and very scratched. This happens to me every time we have a puppy. I slipped taking Charlie out yesterday and literally smashed into the living room floor. Like I just fell on the floor. And there wasn't anything, my shoe, like I was wearing my jack-o'-lantern sandals. The floor, we had to clean it. And I like slid, I don't even know. And just like, I wiped out hardcore. And I have a huge bruise because I wiped out. I don't think I've talked to you. Oh gosh. So yeah, that's the book. But if you notice bruises or scratches, it's just because we have a puppy. Charlie's very excited right now and she needs her nails trimmed. And so she's doing an impressive Edward Scissorhands impression. But yes, and I also am a little extra scratched because we had to take Binks and Bane to get their rabies shots. They needed it. But they hate leaving the house. They absolutely hate it. They freak out. They panic. It's not good. And we got them both in separate cat backpacks and it was horrible. They were both freaking out. Bane freaks out more. So Binks shuts down and Bane starts trying to just like escape any way he can. And Krista, to try and help him like calm down, because he was hyperventilating. So we were trying to see if he needed like more air because we were headed home. But he clawed his way out of his backpack and was just like walking around / running around in the car. Thankfully, he stayed near the back of the car. We weren't very far from the house when this happened. So he was mostly in the back of the car. And I did try and like grab him when he was getting out of his bag. Like he popped out and I like grabbed him. But he was like digging every single nail into my body to try and get away. Like he was just like clawing. And so Krista was like, just let him go. Like, it's fine. So he was like in the back of the car and in the trunk, because everything's connected. But it was fine. We managed to get him back in the backpack when we got home. But they were both like very stressed out from having to go. And then they have wanted a lot of attention when we're home because they're like, but currently I have a different cat on me. Goose is on me. She laid on my feet when I came in here. which is very cute. She did not have to go anywhere today. Neither did Salem. She and Salem have gotten shots. Goose will need boosters next year. And I think Salem needs one at the end of the year. Because she got a shot at a different time. But, yeah. The cat shot schedules are goofy. But, yeah. The girl cats, they will go. They don't like leaving the house either, but they don't panic. They just are very angry about it, so they, like, yell at you a lot. But they let everyone do their thing, and then they, like, don't freak out about it. Goose just gets very upset and yells, and it just doesn't like it. But yeah, so that's a tangent. We really just had that, and then we've been hanging out at the house. We also had to pick up a couple goofy things, while we were out today. But yeah, that's really it. I think I do need to head downstairs because Krista needs to take a shower, and I think the game's about to go to halftime. So I will probably talk to you sometime tomorrow. Maybe in the morning, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. But I will definitely talk to you later, Gremlinos. I'll either do a tarot poll or I'll have an update on the sanatorium, or both. No idea. But I will talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, Gremlinos. Please note, I am wearing a long sleeve shirt. Okay, the sleeves are rolled up, but admittedly, I always roll my sleeves up when I'm working, but it is actually cool today. Like, it was cool this morning. It's still cool outside. So I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt. Also, it would be very helpful for Miss Charlito Banana, because I can pull my sleeves down. Yes, I have been consistently calling Charlie Charlito Banana, and then Krista has been singing the Chiquita Banana song, which I don't know the words to. It's Chiquita Banana, and I'm here to say, it's like a whole thing. Do not ask me why. I've been calling her Charlito Banana. I don't know. But this will be helpful because I can pull the sleeves down when I'm picking her up and stuff, so I don't get a scratch. She has been going in and out of her crate pretty well without me picking her up. And yes, we are crate trading her. She is a puppy. Puppies have a little bit of issue holding their bladder sometimes if they are loose. They also are chewers. It's ideal for us to crate train her. It's also helpful, because if she would have to go to the vet or to somewhere for a long period of time, she would at least be able to handle being in a crate, and it wouldn't be a huge stressor on top of something that may already be stressful. She is already spayed, so she doesn't have to do that, but we just typically do that for puppies, also because we have older dogs, and so we just don't want her to, like, accidentally, like, fall off the couch or be playing too rough and accidentally get hurt, just because there is that size difference, because Kira really wants to play with her, but Kira is not exactly a polite player, so she is crated for her own safety. Not that anyone would hurt her intentionally, but, like, Kira likes to roll her with her nose, because Charlie likes to get on her belly to, like, be like, I'm a submissive puppy, and then she'll, like, roll around, and Kira will then, like, boop her. I just don't want anything unintentional to happen. So the crate is helpful. It also gives her a safe space in the living room that she knows is just hers. So yes, so she is in a crate, just so you know. We are hoping eventually to not have her in a crate, but we have to, like, wait a little bit. There's, like, a window where chewing becomes an issue. Anyway, I'm rambling. I have no book update for you. I am just very excited to be wearing long sleeves. I am drinking cold brew that I made in this fun cup. I really love this cup. My cold brew was unintentionally, I'm going to tell you this because it's funny to me. So I have a cold brew, like, steeper, and I inadvertently left coffee in that steeper, like the thing to steep, for 4 days. And normally I leave it for, like, a day, and then it's fine. It's just standard cold brew. This was definitely concentrate, so it's split in between 2 cups, one for today and one for tomorrow. I'm really hoping I can have hot coffee sometime this week. That would be great. But very quickly, I did do my tarot draw, and I pulled a card I've never pulled before. So this is the Queen of Cups. And this is, let's see if it'll focus. Don't look at my face. There we go. So it's a spiritual, intuitive, compassionate, connected. The Queen of Cups is empathetic, soulful, and sympathetic. The Queen of Cups represents someone who embodies a nurturing role. They listen to others and truly care. They keep their friends close and guard them as the matriarch of their chosen family. The Queen is able to tune in and understand what others are going through, allowing them to feel seen and heard. They may be a healer, coach, friend, or mediator. This card encourages you to go with the flow while trusting your intuition and heart. The Queen is strong and able to get through hard times by staying true to herself and trusting their gut. It says things to consider: meditate, seek out those who need your help, or seek help from your personal Queen of Cups. And then the model is Zoe Davis, she, her. So that is that. I don't know, it's just a nice card. I just like a very nice card, I feel like. I don't really have, like, an immediate, like, connector element. I would say, like, I try to be like the Queen of Cups, but I don't know that that's speaking truly to me. I though need to get going. I have work stuff to do. It is the start of my day. I just wanted to do that, fill you in, and hopefully I will have a Sanatorium update for you sometime today. I think football is on, so I'll probably be reading, but yeah, that's really it for now. I will talk to you later, Gremolinos. Good morning, Gremolinos. My hair is a little goofy, because Charlie woke up at 5. The cats were having like a full-blown conversation in front of her crate. It was so strange, but they woke her up. So I took her out at 5, and then when I came back, because Kira had been cuddling me, she had taken my whole spot, and Bruni was laying next to her, so literally where I'm sleeping, we're sleeping on our couch downstairs because it's been so hot. Our upstairs is wildly hotter than our downstairs, so we've been sleeping on our couch in the living room for the summer. It's a huge couch. It's like a giant modular thing. But they were both in my spot on the couch, so I kind of moved my pillow. I didn't want to move either of them. I was really tired, and Kira still really wanted to cuddle, so I just kind of like moved my pillow a little, grabbed an extra blanket, and fell back asleep. And then somehow at the angle I was sleeping, like the whole back of my head got kind of smushed, and I have a cowlick back here that does whatever it pleases, so my hair's a little weird. But I am here. Quick updates, super quick. I have already done my tarot pull for the day, and what's very funny is I drew the devil. Again, I have drawn this card before, and I keep pulling it on a day where I have a work meeting, like a very specific meeting. So it feels very attuned to that meeting. Because the devil card is negativity, attachment, restriction, and it says this card may appear threatening, but it is here to show you that you need to be completely honest with yourself. It's pointing out your true shadow, the forces or ideas that hold you back. What is it that's inhibiting you? The devil often shows dependency on something, be it another person, a substance, materialism, habits or your own mind. Often the devil shows up to remind you that you have control over yourself. You can break free of a negative pattern in your life. You must identify it honestly and be real about how it's hindering you. Of course, this isn't an immediate fix. Change will take time, and the devil reminds you to overcome whatever is holding you back step by step, giving yourself permission to fail and try again. In order to break free from the pattern that is holding you down, you must accept it as a problem first. And then the models are Malik Ansari, they, them, Constance Schumacher, she, her, and Angie Cooper, she, her. I'll show you the card again. The card is very cool. It's probably, there we go. But yeah, I keep drawing this on a day where I have this very specific meeting. So that's fun. And apparently it ties into that meeting, which actually kind of makes sense. Oh, it is raining. Oh, the poor roofing guy. Not us. My neighbor is getting his roof done, which, like, they've been working on his roof kind of piecemeal for the past couple of years, but, like, there's a man on his roof today, but it's supposed to rain off and on all day. It's not supposed to be clear until tomorrow, and, like, I would just think doing a roofing job in the rain would be dangerous. But yeah, so just an aside. But yeah, I keep drawing that card when I have this specific meeting. I don't particularly like this meeting. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that, but I just think it's funny that I keep drawing it on the day I have that meeting, because obviously I am feeling some kind of way every time. But moving on to the Sanatorium, that was very loud, my bookmark is noisy. So this is by Sarah Pierce. According to the side, this is a Detective Elin Warner book 1. So apparently this is a series in some capacity, or maybe there's at least like another book. So we are primarily following Elin. This is set in Switzerland. We're at Les Sommets in the Swiss Alps. Yeah, so Switzerland. And so this is a very snowy environment, which is why I'm wearing my Catfuß shirt, because like Krampus but cat, it seemed fitting. So the environment of the book is very snowy. There's been a blizzard. So Elin and her boyfriend, partner, they're not engaged, but I feel like she hasn't really called him her boyfriend, Will, were like kind of last minute invited to this hotel that her brother and his fiance are like involved in. They like both work there or work for like the company that owns it, kind of. And so they show up because her brother and her brother's name is Isaac and his fiance's name is Lore. They like invited them. Isaac did, super last minute. She's not really close with Isaac, and really it seems like he only invited her because their mother has recently died, and he's now her only family, and she's kind of like, I don't really want to go, like I don't want to be here. And the reason the book is called The Sanatorium is because the hotel itself is in a renovated sanitarium that was in the Swiss Alps. The design of it was to help heal the sick. There's a lot of glass, there's a lot of windows, there's a lot of large spaces for like healing, to like take in the environment, all of that. So there has been a lot of upheaval about this project in the area. People didn't want this hotel built. People didn't want it to use this building. And there's the idea of like superstitions, and something is going on. So at this point in the book and in the synopsis, Laura has disappeared. She's gone. No one knows what happened. Isaac insists he's freaking out. Eileen, I think it's Eileen. She is trying to like figure out what's going on, but also like trying to figure out what's going on is stressing her out because she hasn't actually been working as a detective. She's been taking care of her mother. She's kind of on an extended leave of absence. And so she's kind of like, ugh. So she is kind of freaking out. She's also getting bad vibes from this hotel. Like every time she goes into a room, she's kind of like, there are too many windows. Like, what is going on here? So she is investigating that, but also something has been found in the woods, and unbeknownst to our main characters, again, this is on the synopsis, on the side, someone else is missing. And we know who that person is. We know vaguely what's going on with that person because we're not getting a lot of details. They can't provide that much to us because of how, like, what's going on. But someone else has already gone missing. And there is someone, even before that, who, like, there's a lot of, like, strange things going on. This is marketed as a gothic thriller. So there are elements where it almost feels like horror because the scenes are very fraught, and there's, like, a figure presented that gives a very, like, horror tone. But it is a gothic thriller. So I do ultimately think this is going to be like a very creepy mystery, very thrilling, no actual horror, but it is giving like a horror tone. And also they're in kind of a confined setting at the Sanatorium / hotel. It is technically a hotel, but still was a sanatorium. Sanatorium. Technically both are true. Because in She Haunts Me Still, the school was previously a sanitarium / sanatorium. And I looked it up, and apparently both words are correct. The name of the book though is Sanatorium. But the previous existence, like what the building was for, is giving even very horrible, I'm gonna just say vibes. Every time she's in a room, she's kind of like, ugh. And her brother was like, oh, you just hate new places. And she's like, what? No, that's not true. I just don't like, whatever. But yeah, so there's also this like undertone between them because of something that happened in their past when they were children. But that is not mentioned, so I'm not really gonna get into it. I also need to charge my battery. But that's where I am so far. I probably won't update you until I finish it because I can't really like tell you too much without spoiling it because again, it's like a thriller mystery. But yeah, that's where we are. I did read some this morning. I did read some last night. I think I'll be able to read some during my lunch break. The goal is to finish it in the next couple of days. I'm not reading it super quickly, just because I'm being very chill. It's a pretty hefty book, but I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later, Grumolinos, when I have an update on the sanatorium or some other kind of update. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk to you about random things. Hello, Grumolinos. Most, all parts of my eyeliner have come off my face. Gnats flew in my eyes a lot while I was playing with Charlie outside. I'm back in the bedroom. I am in pajamas and I finished the sanatorium. So I can't really tell you a ton about this because it is, in fact, basically, hold on. I will just say it is a mystery novel. It verges on some very dark moments. It's just, if I tell you too much, I'm gonna spoil a lot of it. I will say this does become one of those, like, everyone is confined to the hotel sort of stories. So there is one location we were trapped there by a snowstorm. So I mentioned that Lore had gone missing and another woman had gone missing. The stakes continue to escalate in connection to the missing people and the concern for what has happened to them. There is some very graphic stuff that happens to people. There is a person mentioned in the prologue. They're not mentioned on the synopsis, but there is a person that is introduced early on that then ties into this whole plot. So there's a lot of things going on at this former sanatorium. We do get a lot more detail on what the sanatorium was. They discuss patients. They get into the fact that there was like an archive room. It was supposed to be an archive, like they were going to make like a whole archive thing. That didn't go forward, but we do get an examination of the site prior to it becoming a hotel. There's just a lot a lot that gets discussed, a lot that goes on. Also, I'm gonna need you to know, this is slightly, the slightest of spoilers. But I need you to know that for some reason, there are moments where people's fingers are removed / damaged. And as a mostly, emphasis on the mostly, 10-fingered person, I was not prepared for that in this novel. Like, they just casually were like, and the finger, like, and there was just like a thing about a finger. And I was like, excuse you? What? And that happened not once, but twice. Twice! And I was like, are you kidding me? This actually happened a lot after my unfortunate accidental amputation, where I would be reading a book and casually they'd be like, and her entire, like all 5 of her, or all 4 of her fingers came off, or like she lost a finger. I actually believe I randomly watched House of Wax, the remake, after my accident, and I had forgotten that one of the main characters loses part of a finger. And I was just like, excuse you? Also they do a very poor job of like wrapping that finger. But I was just like, oh. So like I was not expecting finger violence. And it's in there. So that is a slight spoiler from your accidental finger amputation moment friend, that I was not expecting. And you probably won't be expecting it either if you have not already read this. This again was a Reese's Book Club pick in 2021. So I'm guessing a number of people have read this. My sister had this on her original Kindle, I believe. Because she was like, oh, I think it's on there. I've had it for a long time. But like I was like, oh, my library has it. I'll just get it at the library. We were going to read it together. My hold just like came in very early. And I basically sent her a text and was like, hey, my hold came in early. I'm going to read it. Please feel free to take your time, because she's been really, really busy at work. So I was like, I'm just letting you know that I'm reading it now. But she did recommend this, because she was like, I remember, like, if you haven't read it, because she was trying to think of books neither of us had read so we could like talk about them. So I have read it so I can discuss it with her at a later date. But yes, so the snowy environment is very, very ideal for the plot. They are trapped. The atmosphere is incredible. The detective element, so Eileen, that's what I'm calling her. I don't know if that is entirely how you pronounce it. It's just how I picture you say that in my mind. She is a great detective. Now, we do learn that as is the case with most novels, where it's like a mystery novel, she's the sort of detective who is an actual police detective, but is on leave. So she's not currently working. This is a common trope in detective novels. I've read a lot of like cozy mysteries. I've read a lot of detective fiction. I actually did my entire master's thesis on Victorian detective television shows and the subsequent history associated with them. Like, I examined Victorian detective novels, or detective television shows, so depictions of Victorian detectives, actual detectives. We're not talking Sherlock Holmes, we are talking police detectives who actually worked for Scotland Yard. That was the caveat for them. And then how those stories represented Victorian England and the actual crime statistics that I could find, and the atmosphere itself and the ideology of crime and all of that. So I'm well versed in the detective novel, because a majority of the things I read had some kind of connection to a novel or were inspired by detective novels of the time. So like I know a detective novel. I know when we're getting a character who is a detective, but to give the reader a bit of like, oh, but they may not go perfectly to the book, you get a detective who is like on leave or does things that they shouldn't and is frequently, like, think Luther, the television show. And this is probably because it was in Switzerland, it was reminding me of something, and I'm not entirely sure. Charlie is very upset. She has been out. She is just angry and wants to be out of her crate right now. But she got a little too excited and ran out onto our front porch. And then when we were trying to get her to go into the yard, she snuck past us, ran into the house. And when we were trying to get her to go back outside, she peed. So we couldn't really have her out because everything kind of smells like puppy pee cleaner And we try to avoid having her like smell that and be involved in it because it can cause them to, anyway. That was a tangent, but it's because I can hear Charlie. I am almost done. Krista is downstairs with her, so she is fine. She's probably barking at Kira. She consistently wants Kira to pay attention to her. But anyway, sorry, that was a huge tangent. So Luther, it was reminding me of something, and I don't entirely know. I almost, it didn't, I don't think he's a detective. I think he's a journalist. So I have read a number of the Stieg Larsson translated books, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. That has an actual name. I don't think that's the series. Because it's but I think he's a journalist. It oddly reminded me of him, but if he had been a detective. A bit, even though he's a guy and Aline is a woman. But the methodology and the researching reminded me of that. So it also may have been that I was thinking they're not the same country, but I may have been conflating them in my head. Don't judge me. I've been really tired. But it was kind of like that. It just was reminding me of something, but it admittedly was reminding me of a male-driven detective story. I have no complaints. I love Aline. I thought she was doing a great job. And I appreciate a female-led detective novel because there are fewer of them. But I think because of the writing choices, it was making me think of a male-led detective novel in that I am more familiar with those because my research was all male detectives because you couldn't be a woman detective in Victorian England. But yes, so I did enjoy it. The chapters are very, very short. They frequently leave you on little cliffhangers so that you want to keep reading. I thought the writing was good. I did enjoy the story, and there are a lot of twists. There are a lot of turns. The story does get very dark. And because this is not a more current novel, there are no trigger warnings in the book itself. So I would perhaps investigate at your peril, in that you may spoil parts of the novel for yourself if you do look up trigger warnings because of how the story evolves, is all I'm going to say. There are some really creepy things that happen. I've already told you about the finger violence, so that's a thing. But that is really it. This is just an odd little vlog of just some library books. 2 were new releases. I read a very backlisted book. Oddly enough, 2 sanatoriums. If only that one had a sanatorium in it. And I can't connect it at all. There's no sanatorium. Though that one is a mystery. So I created a Venn diagram of sorts. Hi, Goose. The Venn diagram? Not exactly. I have connected the books in a Kevin Bacon-esque way. In that sanatorium, detective novel, well, mystery novel. Also level of performance in one of them. I feel like they all kind of connect. They connect in a very weird way, and I don't know how I'm going to title this video. It's really just me reading some books from the library. I'm going to read some more books from the library in the next vlog. Well, 1 book from the library. And I have a couple other random things. Hi, Goose. Why are you Goose is stalking the bed. Anyway, I am so tangenty. I'm pretty tired. It was just an oddly long day. But that is it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all of that stuff. I do have another video planned. I actually have I have 3 videos planned, 2 with set timelines of when I want to complete them. 1 is more nebulous and is going to happen when it's going to happen. But yes, so the next vlog I am going to let you know involves a library book that is backlisted, and then will be my 2 buzzword picks for September. I am probably going to start one of the books, not the buzzword ones, but the non-buzzword book is going to be started before September. But I wanted to read it as close to September as possible, and when you get to that vlog, you'll understand. But I think that's it. If you've read any of these, please let me know. I have not heard anyone mention Kiss, Marry, Kill at all, anywhere. I haven't seen it online in any capacity, and I thought it was really fun, and I really want to read the sequel. Actually, that one also connects to this one, besides the fact that it's a mystery novel. They did a thing at the end. They both did a similar thing at the end, and that's all I'm going to say. Oh, look at that. Look at things connecting. I love it. Anyway, I need to go. I'm rambling. Extra rambling. I'm ramble-tastic. I think that's it. I've done all the things. Also Instagram, Clef Ever After. But I'm gonna go. So I will see you in the next one, Grandma Knows. Bye!